everyone, welcome back to my channel So Little Time, and my name is Karen. So I hope you're all doing really well. I thought I'd record this section of the video outside as it is such a beautiful day and it's really quiet at the moment. The boys are at school, Simon's back at work. He had a week off to do the shed roof, and I just thought, yes, why not take this opportunity to come outside and share with you my most recent make that I have finished. So you may recognise this fabric as I've spoken about it quite a lot recently. It was one of my work in progresses that was under the bed for a number of years, and I started trying to finish it last year, but then got really cross with it, and I again put it to one side and it just got left. So it was my aim this year to sort out my work in progress pile, because I'm sick to death of seeing unfinished makes in a pile, and I'm really pleased that I did persevere with this make. So this is the New Look 6446 jumpsuit. I absolutely love this pattern. I'll put in a stock photo here so you can see what the front of the cover looks like, because I cannot find my pattern anywhere. I don't know what I've done with it. I've only just recently finished with it, so where it's gone I don't know. But yeah, as you can see, there are a number of views in this pattern. So there is the jumpsuit, the play suit, a long dress and a knee-length dress, and I've made the jumpsuits in the past and also the play suit version as well. So I'm yet to make the dresses, but after seeing Anita from So Yogi, I think that's right, if I've got that wrong I apologise, and I'll put it across the bottom of the screen. She's got a wonderful YouTube channel, so please do check her out. She has made some beautiful dresses from this pattern, and I'm really inspired to go and make one myself, so especially the long length one as well, or the maxi dress as it were. So this one you will have seen before, like I say, because I have been so cross with this fabric. It's a Lady McElroy viscose fabric, which is absolutely beautiful, and I am really glad that I persevered with it, because since finishing it I have worn it so much in this beautiful hot weather that we're having. It's just so lovely and drapey and lightweight, it's just perfect. So first of all, I'll give you a bit of information about the pattern before I show you my version in a bit more detail. So I have made the straight size 12, which is the size that I always make. Now that isn't equivalent to my body measurements. That would probably have put me in a size 14 or 16, but I've sized down because there is quite a lot of ease in this pattern, especially around the hip area. So for the bust, I'm a 34 to 35 inch bust, and the ease in that is about 1.5 inches. I can't remember what it is for the waist, or whether it actually even gives you the finished garment measurements for the waist, but for the hips it is 6 inches of ease in comparison to the body measurement chart on the back of the pattern. But what you will find is that the finished garment measurements are actually on the pattern pieces inside the pattern itself, so do check that out. It's not always clear that they're going to be written on there, so yeah, just check that out. But that's 6 inches of ease for the hips, which for me plays in my favour because I am a pear shape, so it works perfectly for my figure. So my hips are about a 40 to 41 inch hip, and I can't remember what the finished garment measurements is for this, so I'll put it across the bottom of the screen for you just so you know, but it just drapes across my hips just right. Now this was a really difficult fabric to work with, and if I'd have known back at the time when I first cut it out, I would have spray starched the whole of the fabric before I'd even cut out any of the pieces, but I didn't at that point. So I actually spray starched them afterwards, and I could tell that I hadn't cut them on the grain, so that was one of the reasons why I was getting really cross with it, because I didn't think the drape was going to be quite right, and sewing it was just fairly difficult. I just found it really difficult to work with, but I'm really glad that I did end up persevering with it, because I absolutely love how it has turned out, and it's very different to my previous versions that are a lot more structured. I've got my playsuit version in a quilting cotton, and my other two jumpsuit versions, I've got one in a stretch cotton sateen, and the other one is in a a crepe fabric, which has actually got some wool content in it, so it's quite a heavyweight type fabric, but it's lighter weight than the cotton sateen. So they're all different fabric choices, so you can see that you can make this in a different array of fabrics, but this one, yeah, it's really nice and light and airy, so this one is definitely for the summer months. So I'll stand back so you can see it in more detail. So at the top here it's got this lovely band here, and on this fabric I did find that I've got a little bit more drape there, even though I have interfaced this piece, and that is double-sided, so on the other side I have got the same fabric as well. It's got these lovely thick straps that cover your bra straps. You just have to alter the fit, you know, the length of those to fit you. It's got some darts here at the waist, and then if I stand back it's got these lovely deep pockets here, and then there are a couple of pleats here as well, which you probably can't see very well in this busy fabric, but they are there, but it doesn't accentuate a belly or anything like that, which is really nice. So you can see it skims over my hips really nicely. I haven't changed anything with regards to the size of this, apart from at the back of the zip I have brought it in slightly because I am smaller at the top, so I did bring that in. I could do with bringing it in a bit more now actually, because now I've been wearing it, it has given a little bit, so I have got a little bit of gaping around the sides here, as you can see. So yeah, let me just stand back a bit further so you can see the length. So I've got the 3/4 length legs, and I just really like that length. I think it's really quite a flattering length, although if you didn't like that you could easily lengthen this to a full length jumpsuit, no problems at all. But yeah, really nice deep pockets so you can get your hands all the way in there, and then at the back it is finished with a concealed zip, and I think that's about a 16-inch zip that goes in there. Yeah, so I absolutely am over the moon with how this turned out in the end, so I'm really glad that I did persevere with it and got it finished, because I have been wearing it so much in this beautiful weather. And I have to say, one good thing that I find for it is that if you're somebody like me, that my thighs touch at the top, so when I'm in hot weather and wearing dresses, I do find that it gets a little bit sore around that area, and I don't really want to be wearing cycling shorts underneath the dress, because I just think that's another layer of heat that you just don't want to add. So wearing a jumpsuit like this avoids any chafing in between your thighs and stuff. I think I actually just need to do some wide leg squats to tone my inner thigh area. I think that's what's happened. Yeah, you know, anyway, probably a bit too much information there for you, but you know, it is perfect for that type of thing if you suffer with it. So a jumpsuit is great for that, very nice and lightweight. So yes, this is the New Look 6446 jumpsuit then. Really glad I finished it. I hope you like it too. But that's it for this part of the video, because I do have some other makes to share with you which will follow on, but I may or may not be outside for those, because they are slightly warmer makes. We'll see. Anyway, on to the next bit of the video. Right, next up is a make that I recently pattern tested for Helena Sews. Now she is on Instagram, and this is her first pattern that she's brought out, and I absolutely love this dress. I have to say it's quite booby, which is not something I usually wear, so excuse the weird tan lines as well. I've just, you know, brown up here and completely white down there, but I'm really pleased with how this dress turned out, because it's a completely different style of dress for me, because like I say, I don't usually have my cleavage on show, and you can't wear a bra with this as well. Now I have got you know, a little bit of a bust, so I wear a bra with everything I wear usually. So this one I can't, because it's quite low, and the way the straps are as well, it just wouldn't fall in line with where the bra straps are. So you could wear a strapless bra, but you'd need one that's quite, you know, low down as such. So I've written down some information to pass on to you about this pattern first before I show you it. So it comes in sizes 4 to 18, and I have made a straight size 12, although the seam allowance for this is 5/8 of an inch, and I've ended up just using 3/8 of an inch just to give me a little bit more wiggle room. So I think I probably should have done the size 14, although I don't know whether that then wouldn't have fitted my bust properly. I'm not really sure. It's finished with a 12-inch invisible zip down the back, so it's quite a short zip, so you do have to put this dress on over your head, and it is a mini length style, this dress as well, although you can add length as you see fit and side splits and all that kind of stuff. So I have actually added 5 inches to the length of this, and I am 5'5", so you'll see where it comes to on me, just so you can get an idea of, if I hadn't have added 5 inches, how short it would have been. Right, so I just pan you down so you can see in a bit more detail. Well, firstly I'll show you the straps. So they're a really nice size strap, and then these cups, I'm really sorry I'm putting my boobs in your face, they are actually princess seamed, and I tried my best to sort of pattern match to the point that they look equal on each side, so that's really nice. And then it sort of joins here and goes around like that, so that you sort of construct the cups separately before you add the dress on. So I'll just pan you down a bit more so you can see the shape. It's a lovely shape. It really skims nicely over my hips, and if I stand back a bit more, you can see that where I've added the 5 inches, it's just sort of above my knee, probably about an inch above my knee, which I'm really happy with that length. It's a really nice fitted style dress. It sort of hugs my curves really nicely. Sits into my back really nicely as well, because I do have a sway back, so I don't have any excess fabric there, which is really nice. And then if I show you, that's where the invisible zip is there, sort of just goes down to about there on me. So yeah, you do have to put this dress on and off over your head. The construction of the actual bodice is double-sided, so it's a lined bodice. Obviously I can't turn it around because I don't want to flash you too much boob, but yeah, it's really nice that it covers this area here, so you've not got like a side boob or anything like that. It's just quite cleavagey this area here. So I mean, I will wear it out probably to a party or something like that, but I may well see if I can try and find a bra that I can wear with this dress so I feel a little bit more comfortable. If I can, I'm going to put some tit tape on, as it were, to keep it in place, you know, because I do like keep moving my boobs around a little bit to keep them in place. The fabric that I have used is from Felicity Fabrics. Now I think it was in their remnant section a while ago, and it's a cotton piqué fabric, so it has got like a waffle type texture to it, so it's quite a nice structure as well. So you can make this dress in all sorts of different fabrics, you know, cottons, even like satin style fabrics and things like that. So you will probably get a different kind of drape on it depending on what fabric you use with it. But I'm just so pleased with how this dress has turned out. Now what I will say is that if you're not one for wearing a dress that shows so much cleavage and you wanted to wear it just as like a summer dress, you could wear it with a t-shirt underneath, sort of very 90s style I suppose, so that is an option. Although if you don't have as much of a bust, then you would probably be able to wear this absolutely fine. You know, if you're somebody who doesn't have you know, the cleavage as it were, then you'd be all right. Yeah, you can probably see that I'm a little bit uncomfortable about my boobs being on display so much because I'm fiddling about quite a bit, but I will wear it. I have to say, my husband saw it and he was like, wow, I like that. Yeah, I thought, wonder why. You know, yeah, I don't usually show off too much breast. Anyway, I shall go and get changed into my next make. Right, next up is another pattern test that I have done for Julia at Bobbins and Buttons, and I'm really pleased with this one. I actually already have a version of this that Julia kindly gave me for when I did some modelling for her for some of her patterns that are coming out soon, and I was so in love with this pattern when she had made the version that she had done, that when she said, you know, would you like to pattern test it, I was like, yes, definitely I do. So this is the Lisa hoodie, which comes in sizes extra small through to 2XL, and I have made the straight size small for my version, and there are some different style options for this pattern. So there's one with side vents, and there is one with a hemband, and I have done the one with the side vents because I really like that style. This is made in a very lightweight kind of French terry fabric, so it's really very stretchy, and isn't like as warm as your sweatshirting sort of style of fabric. And it's got this lovely hood on it which crosses over at the front, which I really like that because it then, you know, doesn't give too much sort of gape here, and I like it when it crosses over. I just think that's a really sort of flattering hood style. It's got a lovely pocket on the front, so I'm going to stand back so you can see a bit better. Bear with me. Right, so it's got a kangaroo style pocket here, and if I turn to the side you'll see the side vent, so I've put on a different colour top underneath so you can see, and it's a stepped hem as well, so the front one is slightly shorter than the back one, which comes sort of to here. So if I put my fingers where they are, you can see the difference. I hope that you can tell, like that. Yeah, and it's got some really nice long cuffs on this version as well. So on the one with the hemband, I think there is an option to have shorter cuffs, so you just lengthen the sleeves slightly. And then the hood is fully lined as well. So I have used some fabric, just cotton jersey fabric that I had in my stash to line that, and I like the way that the hood actually rolls around, so you've got this bit here, so that's not a separate piece. It's literally the way that you sew the hood line into the outer, it just rolls it round. Can you hear the birds? They're so loud. It's lovely, isn't it? Yes, this is quite warm to be wearing today, but yeah, I absolutely love this. This is going to be perfect if you're taking on holiday with me to Cornwall, because you know what it's like when you go on holiday to Cornwall. Beautiful part of the country, glorious if you have the weather, but you know, if you do get that chill on the beach, or if the weather's a bit drab, then it's nice to have this sort of thing to put on, especially when it's getting a bit chilly in the evenings. Yeah, so it's really nice. So I haven't changed anything to this pattern. It is the straight size small, so I'll just pan you down so you can see the length here on the front. So I've just got cycling shorts on at the minute, but yeah, so it just comes to sort of, I'd say, mid-hip area for that, and then the bottom of the back bit is literally just above base of my bum area. Yeah, it's really nice shape as well. It's sort of got that A-line curve to it, which is perfect for me. And it's got this lovely kangaroo pocket on the front as well. Really easy to pop that on. Really nice construction. Julia always provides a really good instruction booklet with her patterns as well, and they are available in PDF or in printed form. So yeah, really pleased with this one. It's a thumbs up. I'm definitely going to be making more of these. I think this is going to be a staple in my wardrobe for sure. So I shall get changed into my next warm make. Right, next up is is another hoodie pattern, but as you can see, this one is a zip up hoodie style, which I do wear on a regular basis actually throughout the year. So I'm really pleased to have had the opportunity to make one up, because I've never ever made this style of hoodie before, and I've never put a zip in a jersey garment either, so that was all new for me. So this pattern is the Homebody hoodie by My Handmade Wardrobe Patterns, and that's created by the ladies at Crafty So. So disclaimer, I have been gifted the pattern and the fabric in return for pattern testing, and I'm really pleased with the actual make itself, although this has turned out slightly too big for me, and there has been since some changes made to the pattern after I gave my feedback. So I'm going to give you my honest review how I feel about this pattern as it stands on me now, and then I'll tell you the changes that they have made, so I will hopefully make it again in the future and I will get a better fit. I haven't actually got the pattern to hand, so I will have to put across the bottom of the screen the size range that it comes in, but I have made the straight size medium, and I haven't made any changes whatsoever because I wanted to make it as per the pattern instructions so I could give feedback, you know, for the pattern testing process. So this is made in a sweatshirt in fabric, which has actually got a brushed back on it here. As you can see, it's a nice furry one, so it's really nice and snuggly and warm. And they also sent me the lining fabric for the hood, which is just a standard cotton jersey in this lovely blush pink colour. So I really do like the fabric. It's not something that perhaps I would have chosen, so they sent me it as an option, and I said yeah, I'll you know, sew that up. So when it came, actually the print was smaller than I thought it was going to be, and I'm actually pleased with that. But I'll sort of stand back so you can see the full garment on me, and then I'm going to go through sort of the details, and then I'll tell you the changes. So let's go back here. So it's quite a long hoodie, as you can see. It's got pockets here which are actually inseam pockets, and then I've got the pink lining in there as well. So I do quite like having that lining in there, although I do find that it does show quite a bit, so I don't know if I would do that normally. And also I'm not keen on side seam pockets on a jersey garment because I think it adds that little bit of bulk that I don't need for my shape. As you can see, if I took those away, it gives me a bit more of a streamlined look if I flatten them down. So I perhaps wouldn't add pockets to this style. I prefer the patch pockets on the front, you know, the ones that are just like this, and that's how they are on all my other style of zip up hoodies. It has a hemband on the bottom here, which is a split seam down the side here. As you can see, it's another stepped kind of hem as well. So I don't know if you can see that. Let me try and pan you down a bit more and come in a bit closer. Yeah, so it's just slightly longer on the back, and that was quite an interesting construction actually. It wasn't the easiest to construct, but I managed to get there in the end. And I do quite like that. It's something a little bit different, although, you know, it's easy enough to put on a normal hemband if that is what you would prefer. So there's the side seam pocket there. It has got sort of a, I don't know, it goes in and then out, so it has got sort of an hourglass shape to this hoodie. The sleeves I have found are really long. And it has just, you know, got a sort of standard length cuff on it there, but they are really long. They come down to my knuckles, so I thought that was quite long. So what I have been doing is actually rolling in the cuff to wear it without the cuff being there, so it just sort of comes then to my wrist. I just feel that that's a little bit more comfortable for me. Otherwise I get really hot around my wrist area, you know, just, yeah, that's a much better length on me. I do find that it is a bit too big here, so it actually has a dropped shoulder, so the seam is here, and I prefer a sleeve that is sort of set in, you know, on a hoodie. I just think it gives a bit too much excess here, so I don't know whether I should have sized down at the top there. Certainly didn't need to size down on my hip area because that just fits me sort of just right, I suppose. Yeah, but a bit too much excess here, which I did give feedback about, that I did think that there was a bit too much room there. The hood's lovely. It's a really nice size, you know, so if I pop you back up, I can show you that, you know, it's a good size if you want to put it up, if you have a windy day on the beach or something like that, or want to just have a sprinkle of a shower, you know, just to cover you up. Now I am going to say that my zip insertion isn't the best, or I didn't follow the instructions quite right, or maybe the instructions weren't quite right and they have now since been altered. But basically I was following the instructions and it was telling me to line the hood up with a notch, which I did. But then once I had inserted the zip, you can see that the hood isn't right up to the edge of where the zip is. So I feel that that needed to be in more, you know, so it's more joined seamlessly, I suppose. I think it looks a little bit messy, and I don't like the way you can see my overlocking stitches, so I would add some tape on that next time. That's just personal preference. I like the contrast pink zip, and that went in fine as, you know, a zip is, and when you do it up it actually looks okay, but when I usually wear my hoodies, you know, open if I have the zip done up, and I just don't like that you can see this and it shows a little bit of the raw edges. I mean, I made an error in not changing my bobbin thread look, and I should have used pink there, but that was a mistake that I'd made and I didn't realise. You know, yeah, so I don't know whether it was my fault that I'd done that wrong, or if the instructions weren't quite right at the pattern testing stage. I'm not sure. With regards to the sleeves, I do find that they are a little bit big as well, because there's actually some ease in the sleeve piece where you put it into the this shoulder seam here. So I did say, you know, I felt that added unnecessary bulk there, and if that was taken away then it would be a bit more of a streamlined sleeve basically. So I'll just tell you the changes that they have made since this pattern has been released. So they've added 2 centimeters on the round at the hips, because I think a lot of us were saying that we found it was quite tight around our hip area. I have actually since lost some weight, so it's not so tight on my hips. They've taken 2 centimeters off the sleeve length, which is good. I still think I probably would take a little bit more off for me, because as you could see it was right down to my knuckles, so that's a good 3 inches. They've slimmed the sleeve by 2 centimeters on the round at the elbow, so maybe some people had excess here, I don't know, I didn't feel I had that, mine was more at the sleeve head. And they have removed the ease at the sleeve head, which I think is great, because yeah, it's just too much, you know, and it's I've got quite a lot of excess there as well. I mean, I don't know, I mean, it feels okay, but that's what's adding to this. Maybe I just need to size down at the top, I don't know. It's not put me off making this pattern again. I would really like to give it another go with the changes that they've made, and they have also put on their YouTube channel I think it's a zip tutorial, and also how to put zip tape down, you know, to cover the raw edges, which I thought was a really nice touch. So yeah, overall I will wear this, I think, because it's you know, it doesn't look too bad, and I quite like the length of it. It's a little bit longer, so it is more of a jacket style. I don't know if I would add these pockets again. I probably would put patch pockets on the front if I wanted pockets, or just completely omit them, because I just think they add bulk onto my hips. I'm going to show you inside, because there was another suggestion that I did put forward to Crafty Sew and Sew, so I'll pan you down a bit. So I'll open up the jacket itself, and as you can see, the pockets are flapping around, which I wasn't very keen on. So I've suggested to them to have the pockets so that it's top stitched from the front to keep that in place. Because I just find that when I'm wearing that tends to sort of bunch up and add even more bulk than I want. So I think if you top stitch those down, you could add a nice feature on the front, and I think this may be an option that they've added in the pattern. I'm not sure, because I've not actually received the pattern since they've changed it. Yeah, so it might be better, I'm not really sure, but I mean, it looks okay open, but again, I would just top stitch those down to stop that flapping about. Yeah, so that's the Homebody hoodie then by My Handmade Wardrobe Patterns in the size medium. Perhaps the size small might fit me a bit better now that I've lost a little bit of weight. Yeah, and I hopefully will try and make this again. And yeah, I just feel like there's quite a lot of room there at the top, and maybe the changes might make a bit of a difference as well. Right, so I'm going to go and get changed into my last make. I'll be back in a moment. Right, next up is my Sagebrush top by the Friday Pattern Company, and this one I have made in a cotton poplin fabric. I can't remember where I got it from now, but it's a really beautiful print, really sort of ditzy floral on it. I absolutely love this pattern. It's a really nice one to sew up. If you've not made it before, I really do recommend the pattern to you. It comes in sizes, I think, extra small through to 3XL if I'm right. I'll put it across the bottom of the screen. I haven't got the pattern here with me, as you can see I'm completely disorganised. But this obviously is in a cotton poplin, so it has a bit more poof to the sleeve area in comparison to the last one that I made, which was in a more drapier style crepe fabric, which I absolutely love. So I thought I'd try it out in a cotton poplin and see how I got on with it, because obviously I made the Paddington top recently by Peppermint magazine, and I've just found that those sleeves were just completely wrong for me and I just didn't feel comfortable. So I've since gifted that to my neighbour and she looks amazing in it. In fact, I'll insert a photo of what she looks like in it. It just really suits her. She doesn't have sort of square shoulders like me, so her shoulders are more sloping, and I think with the raglan sleeve it suits her so much better, whereas I need this up here, if that makes any sense at all. So yeah, it's got this lovely frill detail across the top of the bust, and you just gather a little section of the top here as well, so it gives a really nice flattering bust area. It's bias bound around the neckline, which then creates the tie at the back. The poofy sleeves, they are quite big, so if you don't like voluminousness there, then choose a drapier fabric, and then it's cinched in with some elastic here as well, which I just made so it just sits comfortably and it's not too tight on me. I have made the size small at the top and then graded out to a medium over my hip area, so I'll just pan you down so you can see that it just fits really nicely. Now this pattern comes with a really deep hem, but for me I only fold it over by 2 inches and top stitch it down, because I prefer that length on me here to sort of mid hip area. Any shorter and it shows off my really curvy area, which I don't like. Yeah, and I just feel that with the small I've got quite a nice A-line shape grading out to the medium there, so as you can see all the way around it fits really nicely on me. I'm wearing it with my cycling shorts still, so it's not the most glamorous of looks, let's keep it real. But yeah, really pleased with this. I love this fabric, it's really nice and lightweight and was really nice to sew with, being a cotton poplin. So really behaved well, you know, it's done the gathering really nicely on that frill detail there, and as you can see it does hold that poofy sleeve really nicely. But yeah, I don't think it's too much. I really quite like that, and I think this would be really nice to actually hack into a dress in a cotton poplin. You know, you could add a empire line sort of waist here and then add some tiered bits, or just another sort of A-line skirt onto the waist, or even you could just continue straight down and make it, you know, and just add a tie belt or something. But really pleased with this one, so I don't think this will be my last, that's for sure. It's a pattern that I really enjoy sewing and I really like how it looks on me, and you can wear it, you know, with skirts and trousers, jeans and that kind of thing, so it is quite versatile as well. Right, in actual fact, I'm not going to leave it there as my last make. I've got another couple of things that I'm going to show you, which are actually older makes, but I don't think I ever pop them onto like a makes video. The one that I'm currently wearing is the Nina Lee Camden Pinafore, and I made it last year. I think I'd had it cut out again for a long time and never got round to finishing it, and then when I did finish it, it didn't fit. It's still a bit snug on me, but I thought I'd share it with you anyway, as I have been losing a little bit of weight, so I'm nearly in it. I have got it zipped up, it's absolutely fine. It's just not quite comfortable enough to wear out as yet, but I'm getting there. So just a disclaimer, this is weight I gained during lockdown that I'm currently losing. It's not like I'm losing more, if that makes sense. It's just, yeah, I was just a bit of a pig during lockdown, you know, because that's all I did was eat and drink. Eat and drink. So I'm trying to get that weight off anyway, so I'm really sorry if that is annoying for you. But I'll show you it anyway. It's a really lovely pattern. It's a fully lined pinafore, which I will say is quite a game to do. It's quite a lengthy process to line this pinafore completely, and I think you probably could do it without lining it and then just maybe bias binding the armhole and the neckline. I think other people have done that, but I have completely lined it, and I've used a black kind of acetate lining, so it's nice and slippy. If I wear it in the winter with tights, you know, it's not going to be a problem. So hopefully by the winter I'll be in it properly. I'll pan you down. So it's got these lovely princess seams. Now I did have quite an issue getting those in, so I don't know if it was the fabric or the pattern, I'm not really sure, but as you can see I do have some puckers there. You know, I'm not going to let that put me off wearing it, but yeah, they just were a real ball ache to get in, I'm not going to lie. It's got this lovely waistband here. Now when I was making this pattern, I did find that it came up quite high, so I have just used a smaller seam allowance around the waistband area, so I've probably given it a little bit more width as well. just because I wanted to keep as much length on the actual pinafore dress itself as well, because it does come up really short, and the next time I will definitely add length to this pinafore. So I'll pan you down a bit more so you can see, you know, it is a little bit too small for me at the minute. As you can see, it's pulling, but it's got these lovely pockets on the front, these patch pockets. They're not overly deep, and then it is really nice and fitted, but as you can see, it is just slightly too tight for me at the minute. But you know, it won't be long and I will be in it. Again, I'll go backwards a bit more so you can see the length. So it's just sort of above my knees, and I think that, yeah, it's just, I don't know, I think I'd just like to add that little bit more length onto it, because I literally have just used a bias bound hem to keep as much length as possible, and I've done that as well for the lining. So I've added bias binding around the bottom of the lining, so it's fully lined all the way through, and then the waistband, I've got some of that lovely polka dot fabric on the back of the waistband as well. So it's a really nice shaped dress. I think it would be perfect for work occasions, and you know, to be able to wear a top underneath it, I'm definitely going to have to lose a bit more weight, because I don't think I'm going to fit anything else into this dress right now. I've got about a stone to go, would you believe? Yeah, but we'll get there. So yeah, this is a stretch denim in a lovely sort of a wine colour, Bordeaux kind of colour, which I got from Minerva, and it was in return for a blog post. So there is a blog post all about this dress, but not of me actually wearing it. It's just like flat lay photos and stuff. So if you want to see all the details of the inside of the dress, then I will link that blog post down below for you to have a look at. It's a really, really lovely fabric. It was really nice to sew with, but yeah, just still a little bit snug at the moment, but I will be in it very soon. So the last make that I'm going to put on is again one that I made a couple of years ago actually, and it's the Longline jacket by Sew Different Patterns, and I obviously modelled this on the catwalk at the Stitch Festival earlier this year. I'll link up a card above if you want to check that video out if you haven't already done so. It was a really fun day and I absolutely love this pattern, so I'm going to pop it on now for you to see. Right, so here it is. It's a really, really beautiful sew, this jacket. It's unlined, and it's all straight lines, so it's really easy to do. It's got raglan sleeves here, and it's got this lovely little collar as well. And then if I pan you down a bit more, you can see that it's got a waist seam here, which just goes around the front, so the back doesn't have that waist seam. The back is just all one panel. It's got beautiful deep pockets, and I mean really deep. Your hands go all the way in, near enough to the bottom of the jacket itself. It is supposed to be an open style jacket, although I think that it is supposed to sort of come as close as possible. And if you wanted to add a closure on, you could easily do that if you just sized up and then overlapped it, or you could add some small sort of hook and eyes. Oh, got a piece of branch there. Yeah, you could add hook and eyes onto it easy enough, that's for sure, you know, those little ones that you can put there. But I really like this style of jacket. It's just really comfortable to wear, and it's just one of those nice layering style pieces. So you could definitely wear this like as a really posh jacket to wear over a dress at a wedding, you know, if you made it in a brocade fabric of a lighter colour. But yeah, this is just such a nice design, and it fits really nicely at the back as well. Now for the sizing, I think I made, I think it was the size 10, I believe. Yeah, I went with the size 10, and in the end that still worked out a little bit big for me, to the point where the back was sticking out quite a bit. So what I did in the end was just used a bigger seam allowance down the side seams just to bring it in a little bit. Yeah, and I hand stitched the cuffs, well, there's not even cuffs, rather I just hand stitched the hem into place on the sleeves and on the bottom of the dress, and it's got these lovely mitered corners. If I can show you, see if you can see, really nice mitered corners there, just here, if you can see that. And I hand sewed all of the hem at the bottom as well, because I didn't want any visible stitching on the outside of this jacket. But it's just a really nice pattern, and because it's unlined, you know, you don't have to line it or anything. And I just used my overlocker literally down the sides here, which I think because this fabric is quite busy, you can't see it. I mean, on the other side you do have, I have got interfacing on there, but you don't see that at all. And it's just a really nice neckline as well, you know, like just yeah, really nice. Doesn't have a collar or anything. So really super pleased with this jacket. Right, so that's all my makes then for today. I've got to share with you, and I'm hoping to crack on with some more over the next few weeks, so I'll share some more with you very soon. But thank you ever so much for taking the time to watch my video today. Thank you also very much for commenting on my last video, which was about how I lined a bodice. It was really nice to get your feedback on that video, so I'm really pleased that it was really useful as well to some of you and that you've saved it for future reference. That's really nice to hear, so thank you ever so much. And if you are new to my channel, please consider subscribing if you've not done so already. That would be lovely, and I should be back very soon with you. So take care everybody, bye.